What's up, everybody? Welcome to Riding the Wave podcast with your host,
AYD,
MJ in the house. Hope everybody had a productive week going into the weekend. Hope everybody's ready for Mother's Day, right?
happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
So on that note, we gotta cheers.
We gotta cheers,
as
baby.
we always do. Cheers to everybody out there. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have an amazing day. Cheers to you,
everybody out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
All right, Aiden. So first of all, how are you doing, Aiden? How's everything? How's your current?
You know what? I'm doing great. Last weekend, I went to a show. Got to give a shout out right here to The Far Side. Got to say what's up to Imani, Slim Kid, and Fat Lip. What up? They're on tour right now. They're on tour, so check them out. Give your support and love, and I'm guaranteed they're going to be grateful for it. So go ahead, check out The Far Side. They're amazing.
And that's what's up. And that's what's up. And we just want to say thank you to CJ for coming on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
2 weeks in a row, back to back, making that long drive from Lancaster all the way here to LA, sharing his testimony. He did a phenomenal job. I hope a lot of people heard. If you haven't heard it,
check it out.
Please go check it out.
Definitely.
It's definitely a must-watch episode. And just thank you again, CJ, for sharing your testimony.
Yes, we appreciate you.
And I hope that paves the way to a lot of people out there that just want to come and share their story, because this platform is for you guys. So,
exactly.
So thank you again. So we're gonna continue that topic about being a present parent and the importance of being a present parent. So I feel like that's a good topic to keep the ball rolling. So let's get started. Let's talk about how many kids you got, Aid? What was that? How old were you when you found out you were gonna have your first child?
All right, what question do you want to answer first?
Whichever question comes.
Right. Well, first I have 3 amazing kids. My wife and I have a child from our previous relationship, and we have a child. Well, we have boys from our previous relationship who are 3 months apart, and we have a daughter together. So
3 in total.
Yeah, and the boys are like 3 months apart. So it's hard to say, oh yeah, the boys are pretty much the same age sometimes, and say, oh, you got twins? No.
Okay, that's what's up. And for myself, I have a little boy, and I was 30 years old. Yeah, I was 30 when I found out I was gonna have my first child. So I think 30 was a good age. You know?
Where before we get into it, like, where were you, like, personally at that, like, your mentality? Where were you at that age?
You know what, man? I was still in that party phase,
like clubs, bars.
Yeah, just bars.
What's your cup of tea, as they say?
No, it was just like bars, lounges. The club thing I did in my early 20s. So yeah, it was a girl. We were dating for quite some time. We were on and off, and it
was a girl.
Yeah.
Make sure.
But yeah, then she told me we were gonna have a baby, and I mean, I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. When I found out I was gonna be a dad, I kind of, excuse my language, but I kind of pussied out.
Okay.
Was I excited? No, to be honest, no.
That's crazy, because like when I found out I was having a kid, I was stoked.
Yeah, man.
I was. I mean, and it's okay. It's, you know what I mean? It's where I was in the military. I was living the Navy life, getting out soon, you know? So
yeah, man.
See the difference.
Different mentalities. And then how old were you when you found out you were having your first child?
I believe I was 24.
24.
Yeah,
so you're really young, man. And you know what, though? But again, I was just being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
All I was thinking about in that moment was myself. And the first thing I was thinking about is I'm not going to be able to do what I want to do anymore. I, I had a very negative outlook in that moment.
Got you. Like, did you feel like it was gonna be like a burden on the type of lifestyle you were living at that time?
Yeah, yeah. It was changed. It's changed. You know what?
So on that note, all our listeners and viewers, if you're not ready to have a kid, strap up, put on the raincoat.
Well, and that's one thing I'm curious to know more about the dad's the men side is what was your guys' experience like when the fathers out there when you guys found out you guys were having fathers are going to be fathers, were you for the first time were you like MJ and just where it was like I'm out or were you like hey,
I'm stoked. Like
we're stoked.
I'm ready for this.
I'm curious. Like I said, believe it or not, I was 30 years old. But honestly, man, I would say the person that I did have a child with, like I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her.
I mean that makes sense.
You know, so I think that's really what it was. But yeah, man. So it wasn't the most exciting moment like it should have been.
Right.
But I am so glad that I'm so blessed to have him, man. Like,
oh, he's an amazing, amazing.
You know, being a father has changed me in so many ways, and you're gonna hear all about our experiences in being a dad. But so, hey,
thoughts and feelings for sure.
So I know his story's good. He has a really good story about his first child, and I think it's important for the audience to get a background.
Well, let's them decide if the story is good or not.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think
you think it's. I appreciate that. You know,
it's like a Jerry Springer, Maury episode type of story. So
without the fighting,
without the fighting.
Bro,
so
right?
So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Right. Share your story, man. What was that like when you found out you were gonna have a child for the first time?
Oh man, I mean, I've come from a big family, so I wanted to have a big family of my own. You know, so when I first found out that I was having a child, I mean, I was shocked because I was shocked and excited, and I was nervous. I was confused. I was, didn't know what was going on because my son's mother, we were together, we were dating, and I was in the military. So, it was just like we had a agreement to where we were just, hey, this is while you're here, I'm getting out. I'm moving back to Cali. She's going back to, I believe it was Arizona.
So you guys were there for a good time, not a long time.
That part, it was a mutual feeling. We made sure it was like that. It wasn't. I wasn't playing no games or nothing, and it was a good time. We were really cool with each other.
So when did she tell you that she was pregnant?
Oh, the day I was getting out of the military, out of the Navy, and she was gonna drop me off at the airport to come home. That's the day I found out that
the bombshell.
Yeah, it dropped. It dropped. The wave crashed.
Oh man.
But
explain that, man. Explain that to the audience.
It was when she told me, I was like, we didn't know where we were at, within the relationship, and at that time, earlier before, she told me that she was getting a divorce. You know what I mean? She was in the.
Hold up. All right. So,
but I didn't know. I want to say that I didn't know.
So you're telling us that she was married during the time that you guys were hooking up?
Yes, she was married.
Jerry,
hold on.
Jerry,
right? No. But I did not know. I found out way later on, and I did my checks. I was like, there was no male clothes in the house. There was no pictures.
So she brought you to her house?
Oh yeah, I mean, after a while, we started getting really close. We started,
Damn.
yeah, we got in.
She had no like that's gangster. Like
Well, again, later on, as the relationship went through, progressed, she eventually did tell me that she was in the process of getting a divorce. Like she was no longer happy and all that. And I'm not a homewrecker. I do
you
not.
sound like
I
one.
will never. Hell no, I will never date a married woman. That's no, not me.
Okay, all right. So getting all that stuff out the way. So she drops you off the airport. She tells you she's pregnant. What goes?
Well, before that, it was kind of the same thing. MJ, like when she told me, like I was literally laying down in the bed, like she was waking me up, to start getting ready, and she told me, and my first question was like, well, what's gonna happen between us? You know what I mean? Are you like, what are we doing? Are we gonna try to make it work? And like she was
Did you want to
saying
be with her?
again. I think it was. I
That's a
think
no. That's a no. The moment he paused, that's a no.
Right?
No. Okay. Okay.
I mean, I was willing to give it a shot. You know what I mean? She is a good person. She was there for me. It was cool. I was willing to give it a shot. Try it out, especially because now we have a baby on the way, and I'm not gonna. Me personally, in my thoughts and the way I am, I'm not gonna run away from my responsibilities.
Okay. And that was to be my other question to you was you pretty much could have just never spoken to her after that.
I could have, but to be honest, I wanted a family so bad. Like I did tell her, like if we're not gonna be together, like, because she did give me a way out. She's like,
The
you don't have,
ultimatum.
no, she just said you don't have to be a part of the baby's life. Like you could just go on and do your own thing. You know what I mean? And I was like, negative, not gonna happen. But I was just like curious what's gonna happen with us, and if we're not gonna be together, then like it sucks. But I told her, I'd rather have an abortion than not being able to see my child, not being able to watch him grow. You know what I mean? Be
And
a part of his life.
and like how did she react when you told her that, like the whole abortion?
Oh, she was upset. She was like, you want, like, I mean, you want to abort your child? And like, no, I don't want to abort the child, but I'm not gonna leave my child fatherless.
Right.
That's not something that I was willing to do.
Yeah. You
I
know what?
was not programmed to do that.
You know what's so ironic? It is. I
Isn't it ironic?
I I I I felt the same way.
Yeah.
And I know she kind of held this over my head for a long time. I'm not proud of it.
Mhm.
But I also take accountability for my actions. And yeah, when I found out I was having a baby, that did cross my mind,
Mhm.
and I did mention that to her.
Okay, so did it cross your mind that, hey, maybe I'm not ready for a child, so I should probably put on some protection?
Uh, in the moment, no. It's one of those things where, like a lot of people, we get caught up in the moment, and we're not thinking. We're thinking with our little head and not our big head.
Speak for yourself.
You
Speak
know what
for
I mean?
yourself,
You
my
know what I
guy.
mean, Aiden?
Yeah.
But
What are you talking-
but again, man, it was just being selfish.
yeah.
Being selfish, and as men, I feel like that's one thing that we have no right to tell a woman.
Yeah.
Is to do that.
Right. Oh, definitely. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
definitely.
it's crazy how we just as men we just think like it's not a big deal for a woman to just take something that's inside them and just pretty much remove it.
That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's a big deal. That's what I'm saying.
I
It
thought
is.
you said it's not a big
No, it
deal. I
is a
was
big
like, bro,
deal.
like,
Yeah.
bro, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a hell of a big deal to me.
But okay, so going back, so she told you all this stuff that she was pregnant, she was gonna terminate the baby, and then what happens? What happens next?
I come back to Cali. She she stays in Washington, and you know, man, I find out that her husband's in the military,
Uh,
and ex or husband, and he's in the military, and he's like on deployment. Which
wow.
is, yeah, again,
Damn,
like it's like
damn.
when you're in the military, it doesn't matter what branch, you definitely develop a bond and a brotherhood and everything, and that's just it's one
So,
big family.
so
But
that did you feel like not guilty, but like
bro, I felt like like how did this get past me? You know what I mean? How did this like not register? I mean, there's just a lot of things that I was looking at, but there was no signs that she was
yeah,
in a relationship.
and that it wasn't your fault, man. Like I, that's
Yeah.
I don't know. Man. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because damn, I would have been
Ah,
pissed.
speak freely.
I
I
would
mean,
have
if
been
you
pissed. I
yeah,
would have been.
speak freely.
I would have been pissed.
Uh,
Like damn, how
well, yeah,
like
I was pissed because it's like, well, what's gonna happen
yeah.
now? Like, you know what I mean? And that's when I came like, well, I'd
So then
rather have you have an abortion than like we go through all this, and now we have a child that's gonna have to deal with all this. You know what I
so
mean?
so now that so did she end up getting back with this guy or did it get
We actually try to make it work, for quite a bit, and at the stages in our life, because we did talk about it, a few years after and everything. We talked about it, and we were really we drank a lot, and we were angry drunks, and
what do
we
you mean
were
she
toxic.
but what do you mean you guys drank a lot? Like while she was
Uh,
pregnant or
no, no,
what?
no, no.
Oh,
This
I was
this
like,
is this
whoa,
is
what is
what we
going
were
on over
no,
here?
no, no. This is while we were dating and everything.
Okay.
When we were talking, we drank to the point where like the weekend on top of on top of the refrigerator that was just covered of empty liquor bottles,
Oh.
just liquor bottles all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and we had a lot of anger within us.
Okay, so what happens after all that now? Like
Oh well, we just figured out it wasn't gonna work. She ended up trying to make it work with her husband. So she went back with him, and then after that, it was
and
just
I could imagine how did that guy take it to find out that your wife is
yeah.
pregnant with another dude child? Like hell
I think I
no.
mean
Like hell no.
yeah.
Hell
Right.
no.
Hello.
Uh,
Um. No, well, obviously, like at one point, she just cut all communication. All communication. Like I didn't.
you got ghosted.
Yeah, I got ghosted. I was getting few emails, few notifications here and there, how everything's going, but it was real brief. And then I saw him. I like when she had my son. Um, she didn't tell me till a week after, and then I was able to see him a few times. And then after that, I was just ghosted for like a year.
And it's
No,
crazy how some
no
people
contact, no email, no nothing.
it's crazy how some people could be just so shady like that.
I mean, maybe it was her husband giving her that ultimatum too. Like, if I'm not making excuses for her, but I'm just trying to put myself in her shoes. You know what I mean? And just try to see, like, oh, was it like, oh, if we're gonna make this work, you need to cut all ties with them. That's not my son. You know what I
Man,
mean? And
that's
that's definitely, I'm not letting that
ladies and gentlemen, see, I told you.
happen.
I told you that his story is like
I mean,
crazy. Like
there's crazier
no,
story. There
I mean
has to be. There has to be crazier
this
stories.
one's
If
up
your
there.
story is crazier than mine, and I'm sure there's crazy ones out there, man, put a comment. Send us a comment. Send us like, hey, this is my story. I want to talk about my story because there's crazier ones out there.
I would love to hear if you guys if you guys could top his story as that's his first experience of having his first child. That is a lot to absorb.
Mhm.
Okay, so she has the baby,
Yeah.
cuts off all contact with you.
Mhm.
When did you like when did you ever meet your you had a boy, girl?
Attaboy.
You had a boy.
Yes.
Okay.
My
So
son.
were you? I mean, I could imagine. I would have probably been so
I was
hurt.
livid, bro. I was
Like,
livid. I
yeah.
was hurt. I was, man, everything. I was everything. I was just angry. Angry. A lot of hate. And then, like, I didn't like people talking about them or mentioning them because, like, I couldn't be there. I couldn't.
So when did you finally get to meet your son for the first time, and what was that experience like?
I mean, I like when she had my son, she did come down maybe like once or twice. So I was able to spend some time with them. But then after that, it was she cut ties, and then it was like he was almost 2 years old from the next time I saw him. So from being months, about I would say like 4 or 5 months, and then the next time I saw him, he was almost two.
So, talk us
Or two.
talk us through that. Like, so how was that? That she called you and just said, "Hey," like, what was that?
Yeah, she called me out of the blue, and she was just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? How are you?" I was like excited, you know. And she's like, it was on a Wednesday, and then she was like, "I'm gonna be in Arizona, this weekend. So if you want to see your son, you have to come out here." And then me and my buddy, we bought some plane tickets. We flew out there, and I spent the weekend with him.
And what was that like, man? Talk us through walk us through
Man, it
that.
was amazing. It was amazing just to see him walking, like trying to say words. You know what I mean? Like, well, he was talking, you know, but it was
Did he
just
call
I
you
was
dad
shocked.
or when he
No,
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 no.
he didn't call me dad. Um, but it was just when he came with me, it was just an automatic connection. You know what I mean? That connection was just there, and I mean, he's a crazy kid, but maybe back like then he felt something, and we gravitated to each other.
And, honestly, bro, my question at this point, but, like, you found out she was pregnant, that she was married, and she was gonna continue being with this her husband.
Yeah.
At any point, did you just decide what made you like, did you ever decide, like, just to walk away permanently? Like, "You know what?
No,
I'm not I'm
I'm not
not"
even gonna let you finish the question. No,
No?
no,
And why? Why
no,
is that? And
no.
honestly, man, like, I respect you for that
Yeah.
because I feel like there's a lot of men out there, if they were in your shoes
Hmm.
at 24, they would've walked away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it comes from my parents. You know, like
You guys did a good job, mom and dad. You guys
right.
did a great
No, they
job.
did an amazing job. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I thank you guys for everything. Um, but yeah, because my dad, he's with my mom. My mom was putting in work, so she has like 6 kids.
Hello.
You know, right? Uh, three of them, three of them are not his. She was pregnant with me when she met him, and then they had my sister.
Okay.
So he pretty much paved the way for me to say like, like, hey, even though they're not my kids, I'm gonna treat them like my own, and you know
So he set the example
support
for
them.
you.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. I
Okay, so
appreciate you for that. Yeah.
that's beautiful, man. So then, yeah, man. So you met your son, and was it like an instant bond?
Oh yeah, it was like, man, I didn't want thinking about how, man, can I kidnap him? Can I kidnap him?
I
Like,
don't.
you know what I mean? But
I
then
wouldn't
I'm gonna,
advise it,
no, I
but
definitely wouldn't advise it because then I'd be putting myself away from him.
even longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even longer. So I was just like, man, I didn't want to like let him go. I wanted to spend every minute, every second with him. I wanted to see his steps. I wanted to play baseball with him. I wanted to do all the things that that a father, in my opinion, should be doing with their son. You know what I mean?
And then since after that moment, it's been continuous. You being with your son and so forth. After that.
No, it was still big gaps in between. After a while, I just started getting them during the summer, and then I started getting him like Christmas. We would rotate stuff like that. But yeah, it was mostly just the summer.
Okay.
That was the longest I had him, and then he had to go back to school and everything. So
Okay.
but I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
time with my son.
Yeah, man. And to the dads out there, if A could go out there and because didn't you tell me that she gave you like, hey, you have until Wednesday and Friday you need to come, and like you jumped on it, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That was like the golden opportunity. Like I am not gonna miss this. And if I feel like if I would have missed it, then that would have showed that I didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? That like I checked out, and that was not it.
And that's a big question I have to the dads out there. Are you or to actually to just to all the dads, like, are we dedicated
Are you dedicated? Exactly.
to our kids, to our kids? I feel like this is a really important topic.
Mhm.
I was doing a little bit of research, and thanks to Alexa, um, but that every year there's 7,000 kids that are abandoned by their dads.
Man, every year,
7,000,
7,000.
and that's a big number.
Man,
But honestly, bro, you made that number. You dropped that number down by one,
by one. Yep.
and that shit needs to be respected, man.
Yeah, definitely.
And
And
you're
to all the other
and I hope
men
this,
out there.
yeah, and I really hope that this kind of inspires the men out there to spend more time with your kids, to fight for your kids. Because I feel like a lot of times we're so men are so easy to just like when a woman kind of makes it more challenging to be with their kids, they give up and they blame the
Wait,
mom.
are we like man bashing right now?
No,
Is that what we're
no, not
No, I'm
man
just
bashing,
kidding.
but this
No,
is
I'm just
this is just like
talking about what
talking about
goes on and what
importance,
happens and scenario. Yeah, I
because
got you.
when I heard my CJ's testimony, it really hit me in the core of my heart, man.
Yeah.
As far as like
Yeah, it was
uh,
deep, man.
him not having a male figure to protect him,
Yes.
and I think that's very important.
Yeah, that was a big thing that hit me. Like, man, that was something big that hit me because not as a father, not to be able to like protect my son or
Yeah,
even like teaching him things. You know what I mean? Like,
and sometimes
whew, that's tough.
as dads, we give up too easy. The moment things get challenging, we just like, all right, well, whatever, and then we blame the mom. Oh, well, she doesn't let us be. She doesn't let me be with our children, our child, whatever. So, but that's I totally disagree with that because there are so many other ways to go about it. Yeah, it's challenging, but I feel like for men,
Mhm.
they're willing to chase a woman to hell and back, hell and brimstone. They'll chase them across the world to be with them.
Mhm.
But some men aren't willing to chase their own children to be with them, to go through those hurdles, to go through those obstacles.
Mhm.
Oh, it's getting too hard. I'm over it. It's the mom's fault. And I'm just gonna use that as my reasoning.
Yeah.
Um,
Or what if it's like maybe them being at a young age and not knowing how to take care of a child or be a father because there was no father figure
yeah,
in their
but
life.
again, man, it's
I'm
like
not making an excuse. I'm just there's
eh,
different scenarios and
I,
I
I,
like to dive into stuff like that. You know, I
uh,
like to
again, for me,
perspective.
it's I see it as a bunch of excuses because there is a time, there's a certain age in our life where I would think as men like, hey, I need to be with my child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, especially a lot of us know the impacts of not having a male figure present, especially as a boy and as a girl, not having a dad, not having parents.
Oh,
Like it's
that's yeah.
and we need to fucking change that. Like as men, like real talk, we need to step the fuck up. Like real talk.
Mm,
Like we don't have to be perfect and we don't, it's just we just need to be there and like
right.
fight for our kids and just be the best dads that we can be. So, hey,
Listen to that. What's up,
all right. So, what do you love about being a dad?
man?
What do you love about it?
What do I love about being a father.
Yeah,
A
a faja. I'm your faja.
To see my traits in my child. You know what I mean? My characteristics to um man, to watch my creation grow and see what it becomes, you know?
And like, what's the difference? Like, so you have three kids, right? So
Yes.
one of them is from a different person, and then you have your other son, which is from your wife's past relationship, and then you and your wife have your daughter, correct?
Me and my wife have my daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So like, what is the different characteristics between like all three of them?
Bro, it's like night and day. Like one is like super. I mean, the characteristics.
What do you think is easier though?
They're
Like,
wild though. They're amazing. You know, huh?
boys or girls? What do you think is more easier?
Oh, girls,
Girls?
girls, man. Like definitely girls. I love my boys. You know what I mean?
The audience. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think is more easier to raise, boys or girls? I think boys are easier when they're younger, right?
Uh-huh.
And girls are more challenging when they're teenagers. I don't know, teenagers is kind of like murky on both sides though, huh?
No, I mean, you have a daughter?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. I don't.
All right. Nah, but no, I really think that I think girls.
Thank you
'cause,
for
I mean,
hurting
they're
my
so-
feelings right now, bro.
You know, maybe in the near future.
I'm one and done. But anyways.
Girls, they like they say, you know, they mature faster. They
Okay.
learn faster. They really do. I just see the difference. You know what I mean? And it's amazing to see. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing to see, and it's with the boys. It's like fighting against myself. It's like fighting and arguing in the mirror.
Yeah.
So it is tough. You know, I'm sorry, mom and dad, if I was a tough time, but
Closer to
yeah,
your mouth.
it definitely is tough.
Yeah, no, like
Good?
at
Good?
least
You know, mic check or what?
yeah, at least for me, the biggest part that I love about being a dad is just seeing his growth, seeing
Yeah.
his change, the bond that we have. Like when I found out I was
But I got a question for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you see in your son that you see in yourself that makes you think like, man, was I this bad? Or was I this hard to deal with? Or like was I this energetic? Like what
Yeah, definitely as a baby, like when I was a kid, like I was very attached to my mom. Like my mom could not leave the room without me freaking out. And with him it was the same because we spent a lot of time with each other. Like I was saying before you rudely interrupted me. I changed my schedule, so I was working. I worked three. I work on the weekends. So I work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I would have 4 days off to be with him. So I spent a lot of time with him. And the characteristics that I seen that was very similar was the moment I would leave the room, he would freak out. Like he'd be like,
really?
yeah, he'd be like, "Where's my dad?" Like, which it felt good, man. It felt good, but I felt bad at the same time. You know, like you know how when they're kids, like and you drop them off, like you're not supposed to turn back. You know, you just gotta keep on going because the moment you turn back, it's like and they see you, that's when it's
Yeah.
like it gets worse.
Okay.
But I could have helped but turn back, man.
Alright.
Like, but
So we got a little bit of my story. So like how did it come to, you know, you having your son and your relationship with his mother and, you know, like I want to know a little bit about that.
all right, yeah. So quick backstory. Yeah, me and my son's mom, we were dating off and on for about like I would say 3 years off and on. And then we got pregnant, and as I stated earlier, I wasn't very proud of it, but it just in my mind, I was just selfish and like I'm just not ready.
Mhm.
But she wasn't gonna go through with anything like that, so I had to step up and be a man and be there for my son. And But like I'm a type of person, like once I'm fully committed, I'm committed. I'm all in. So I try to make it work. We try to make it work. We did the best that we could, but we were like oil and water. We just didn't get along, and it's okay. It happens. It happens.
Definitely.
So then we separated um after that, and I pretty much took care of him Tuesday through Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of been the the routine. We did go to court. Again, like the men out there who are like the importance of fighting for your child, because if there's one thing I did notice about his mom is she just felt this entitlement. Like she's the mom and she gets to do whatever she wants with our son, and I have no say
Man,
so.
that's where I was at as well. I had no say so, like nothing whatsoever. That's the worst feeling to
Yeah,
have.
and I just
Man.
couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I fucking couldn't do that. And I put in the work, and everybody that knows me and knows who I am, Aid and my family, my friends, seen the change that the moment I had him, like my mind just that light bulb,
switch?
yeah, light switch.
Went on.
It just clicked, and I became fully devoted to our son. And
So
since
it wasn't like a dimmer light. It was like
No,
a full
it
on,
was a
just a light
full-on light.
switch. It's on. That's it.
and I was fully committed. I was fully committed. We went to court. I took her to court, and we got all that worked out. And
Yeah.
and since then, we have a schedule, and I haven't left this side ever since. And I'm not going to. When there, I just
So how's the court system and like the schedule working for you?
it works out great for myself. Again,
Okay.
I got everything not to say everything I wanted, but I have them the 3 days I work on the weekends, and then I have them the 4 days that I'm off.
Yeah.
And I'm able to pick them up from school. I'm able to do what most parents aren't able to do because they have to work, but I'm able to pick them up from school, take them to school, pick them up, do homework with him. Like I get to spend
Yeah.
all that time with him,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't change that for the world.
Right. Right.
Uh,
I mean, me personally, I hate the court system.
yeah,
I hate, like the battling that they go through, and what I don't understand is you have a child with somebody and you need to go to court for somebody to set something up for you to follow, when it's like we're adults, we were able to be together, have sex, have a child. Like, does that show that, oh, we're not mature enough to make those right decisions? You know what I mean? I mean, and that's my personal opinion, because my other son, I went through it since he was 4 months, 4 months old, 4 months old, and we're still dealing with it now. He's about to be 18 in 2 months, and we're still like arguing with his dad about days. Like, what?
yeah. I
Make
mean,
it make sense.
well, we'll touch on that on a different episode.
Definitely, because
Yeah.
I have a man.
I know. It seems like he has to get lot to get off his
Yeah,
chest when,
yeah,
when
I
it comes to
definitely
that.
do. I definitely. Well, that's gonna be another episode for sure.
Well, let's come back. Let's draw
Right?
back to
No, bros, I was already getting hot.
yeah. He's
I was
already
like,
getting
hold
hot over
up.
here. He's
Oh
already
my God,
he was already gonna
getting
take off his
heated.
mask. He was already
I
take off his
mean,
mask.
But I gotta control my emotions. I gotta control my anger. I gotta control this. That's what I've been, practicing on doing. So yeah.
So going back to the importance of being a dad. What has been the biggest challenge of being a dad?
The biggest challenge, having three of them, and they like 2 years apart, because the boys are only 3 months apart.
Okay.
My daughter's 2 months, 2 years apart from them. So having three children running around, and different characteristics, and um, it was different, because my son Nolan, he would go to his mom. You know, he would go with his mom, and he would be there for so long. When he came back, it was challenging because he had to get used to our routine. You know, his sister Raven's and his brother Nathan's routine. So it was
Yeah, man. I think the biggest challenge for me was just the constant him back and forth. I think that's the biggest challenge for me is, he spends 4 days with dad and then, 3 days with mom or 4 days with mom and so forth. So I
yeah.
think that's the biggest challenge. Like I dislike not waking up next to him. Like
Oh, facts.
yeah, like
Or
that's
even in the house. Yeah, facts.
yeah. So I think that's something that I really struggle with. Um. So another question, bro. Another question
What's
is,
up?
what do you think, or how do you think your kids would have turned out if you weren't present in their lives?
Um,
I know it's a tough one.
it is. It is. I mean, but I could kind of relate because at the end of the day, when you have when fathers have sons, like the son needs their father there.
The
Like
Faja.
I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not sorry, but the father needs to be around. The father needs to be present for their son because a woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man, and vice versa. A man can't teach a girl how to be a woman. You know what I
Right.
mean? So the father, I mean, is definitely much needed. Definitely, like
Yeah. So do you think your kids would have turned out?
yeah, I think they would have.
Who do you think would have struggled the most of all your kids? Who do you think?
Out of all my kids, who do I think would have struggled the most?
I mean, you don't have to give out their names or anything
I
like
can't.
that.
Yeah, I can't even. It's hard to answer because it's like who knows? Who knows what environment they're in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's key right there. Like if they're in a bad environment, man, they
Yeah. Like honestly, bro. Like if I wasn't present in his life, man, I think my son would have struggled. Um,
uh,
and why? The main reason is because every kid's different, and
what?
and the reason why I said that is, and
Yeah,
again, this is not to talk negative about his mom. It's just she just was accustomed to, because she has another son, and he was a completely different child. My son needs a lot of attention. He needs a lot of
yeah.
attention.
Was your son's brother um father
Ye-
involved in his life?
yes, yes. But like it was just it's a constant comparison.
Okay,
And that's one thing
got you.
we can't do. We can't. It's like you compare apples to oranges. It's just it's two different things.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, if I feel like if I wasn't present in his life, then yeah, I definitely would feel that he would struggle. He would struggle
Mhm.
with because he's very emotional. He's very affectionate, and um, I'm very like him and I are very similar because I'm very emotional. I'm very affectionate.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the traits that we both that I believe that we both are very similar.
Right.
Where we're just very affectionate towards each other. Um,
Okay.
and final question before we get out of here. And I want to ask you and then the audience, why do you think it's important for dads to stick around?
They
I want to ask you, the audience, first, and I'm talking to the dads mainly. Dads, why
papas,
the papas?
the
Papi, yo
pajas.
papi.
Uh,
Why do you guys think it's important for us to stick around? Leave a comment, DM us. I'm curious. I'm very interested to get in the mindset of different dads,
yeah, different perspectives,
different
the different
perspectives.
outcomes, everything.
So I'll go back to you, Aid.
Uh,
Why do you think it's important for dads to stick around?
to pave the way for their child, for the son, to as much as possible lead them in the right direction, guide them, set the bar high for them, keep them away from the troubles that you might have gotten into, and you know help them become a better person every single day.
Yeah. And for myself, the biggest importance of being a dad is for a better society.
Okay.
What I mean by that is when dads aren't present, as we can already see when we watch the news and so forth, you see a lot of young men who are incarcerated, who commit these harmful crimes, who are committing suicide. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's all on the dad to do, no, but being present as a father, you're able to give guidance, give
Okay.
understanding, coaching are these young men, because when you don't have a father in your life and you're misguided, you're lost. And that's why people, I would say, join or into negative things, rather it's in gangs,
Right.
and start committing, like I said, like these crazy act of violence, because they don't have a dad saying, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. So, what are some of my final question to you? What are some of your approaches that you stick to and your guidelines in a way?
Consistency. It's easy.
Consistency with what though?
Just being present, just being a dad, just
But
being
being a dad, showing him.
just patience. Number one, I think that's one thing that parenthood has taught me is patience, and understanding him, and not jumping the gun when he gets in trouble. And we obviously go into this instinctive, you want to discipline, and I try to just do a different approach, and I just try to understand him. Why did he do this? Why are you doing that? I want him to trust me.
Okay.
I want him to trust me.
Yeah.
So I do my best to not overreact, and just talk to him very respectfully, calmly, and let him know, because I don't want him to be fearful if he does something wrong. Dad's gonna kick my ass, or dad's nah. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want, like, my son to be fearful to me. I want him to trust me.
Okay.
And how about you,
That's
man?
cool. That's cool. Get the belt. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn, this guy's going
No,
to that abusive.
to be good men, to be good people, to um be respectful, be polite. Treat a woman how they should be treated. To
Hold the mic
I
like
got it,
this,
bro.
Jesus.
To Rafi, to be a better person every single day. That's it.
All right.
That's it. But I'm glad you said patience, because you're cray cray. Touching my mind, bro. Get your hands off my mind. You are cray cray. So I know how much energy you have. So I can only imagine how much energy your son has.
But again, this guy holds the mic. It's simple. You just hold it straight.
Leave a comment if you can hear me. If
All
I'm
right.
perfectly fine, leave a comment and say 8 is good.
But
8 is good.
but to the audience, to just the parents out there, I know being a parent isn't easy.
All right, this is the final tip. The final tip from each of us, and then we're
We're gonna
out.
end. No, and I'm just gonna keep it just short and sweet. All we can do is just love our kids, be patient with our kids, guide our kids, and support our kids.
Right.
And that's it.
For me, my tip is if you have the opportunity to see your child every day, do it. Take full advantage of it. I wish I was able to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't have that opportunity. But spend as much time with your child as you can. It's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
And we just want to know, what is your guys' feedback? Why do you guys think it's important for parents, especially dads, to
Be present.
be present?
Yeah.
And please leave a comment, DM us. Please subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Spread
the word.
Spread the word. We have a lot of good content coming up. And thank you again for the people who have subscribed, who are leaving likes, leaving comments. This platform, again, It's not only for us,
It's
but
for you guys.
but it's for you guys.
Definitely. This is Aid.
MJ, we'll see
riding the
you.
wave.
We'll see you guys next week, every Friday, 8 a.m. I hope you guys have a blissful, great week. We'll see you guys next week.
Stay amazing. We love you.
We love you.
Peace.